Eddie, fantastic to see you again. Thanks so
Lovely to
much.
see you.
I absolutely loved working on your picture.
Right
It's
back at
kind of
you.
one of the most optimistic, happy pictures I've ever worked on. And frankly, I think it's what we need at the moment. And
Well,
what I really love is because I know how difficult it is, especially for the youngsters, to get in the film business. And somehow, I take my hat off to you, you've managed to get this cast with neurodiverse actors and to give them a chance. I just think it's fantastic. Can you talk to me a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. Lovely to see you. It's been a while. And yeah, we'll continue the plaudits for each other later. But let's go back into just let's just do that. This is great for our ego. Um, yeah, so I first came up with the idea way back in 2013. And Vince was the first character I came up with, the pop star
Right.
character. At the time, there were a lot of sort of former pop stars coming out of the woodwork. There was this big TV show on called The Big Reunion,
Okay.
and a lot of the pop stars from my youth in the 90s were sort of trying to forge a comeback. And it was just really interesting, kind of just seeing people that were still young, and a lot of them were very talented, having sort of supposedly peaked in their early 20s and trying to sort of recapture that kind of void. Anyway, so the idea was, you know, the relationship with that character and music, and I was sort of thinking it's quite a distorted version of what music should be for people, and so I needed another character, I think, to kind of um, to showcase what a pure relationship with music, what that should be. And I thought about my cousin Saul Zur Shapiro. Saul is an amazing young man. He has very high support needs. He's neurodivergent, has autism, and he is a musician. And when he was I think he was about 10. His family tried to get him into the drums, and they sort of gave him a pair of drumsticks, and he had trouble sort of okay, see ya, bye. So he had trouble holding the drumsticks at the time, and over time he got the sort of technique and the strength to kind of hold them properly. And then he started hitting the drums, and then got tutors in and started getting pretty good at the drums. He had a really good sense of rhythm, and yeah, he was just quite talented. He formed a band called the Autistics with an X, a rock
Wow.
band where the majority of the members are autistic. And fast forward, I think it was like 10 years or something like that. And he ended up on stage in front of 1,000 people performing with the Autistics. And so Tom Jones came up onto the stage and performed with them as well.
Wow.
So,
It's
and
wicked.
Saul was someone that he was someone that struggled when he was younger with loud noises and crowds and things like that. And obviously through music, it enabled him to have this, incredible power to perform in front of 1,000 people. So for me, that was just magic, and that was the complete opposite to Vince's relationship with music. So in a very long roundabout way, that's how the character of Stevie was formed.
Right. Sort of a counterpoint.
A counterpoint to Vince, and also, I wanted to make a movie that was specifically about authentic characters, but it wasn't something that was just about one thing. It wasn't just about fame. It's not just about neurodivergency. It's about people, and people are complex. People have, a whole tapestry of personality traits and histories. So that was the idea behind the film, and there was obviously this opportunity to cast someone who had that lived experience for the role of Stevie.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I like the choice of Ed.
Yeah, Ed was yeah, we've become very
Fantastic.
close. Yeah, I was it was brilliant because the way, when you raise money for a film and you haven't got a track record of making a movie, you kind of have to make a lot of compromises with casting sometimes. Whereas with Ed, we didn't have to. We, I mean, there's a whole history of how we got the film made, but by the time we were able to offer the role to Ed, we could do that. He's got a name, but
Yeah.
he's also creatively perfect. So
Yeah.
we were able to get the perfect guy for the role. But yeah, and in terms of, offering opportunities to neurodivergent actors.
Yeah.
So that's something that, the team and I, so I have my co-writer Zach Klein. Chris Pensakowski produced the first short film, and he worked for many years on the feature film as well, producing. Collie McCarthy produced the feature film with 40 Foot Pictures, and Isabella Odoffin, our casting director, um, who's just amazing. She's now BAFTA winner. So it was a real kind of amazing core team. Um, and obviously, like, Saul's family were very helpful, especially Saul's mother, in terms of the research, and Saul himself. Um, and yeah, so in terms of creating opportunity, I think for me, it's an interesting one because there's this conversation about someone that has lived experience being able to play certain roles, and someone that doesn't have that lived experience, you know, acting as if they did have it, and then you have conversations about uh, raising money, finance, named actors, and all that kind of stuff. And I think for us, you know, there's certain roles where it makes way more sense, including our role for Stevie, to give the opportunity to neurodivergent actors. I think the main reason for me, other than the fact that there's just like a huge lack of representation
Yeah.
for, disabled and neurodivergent actors, um, I think the main reason, other than trying to change that, is the fact that the actor that I got in would have a lived experience different to mine and Zach's. So
Yeah.
if Zach and I had written a character, like, surely it's going to be way more helpful for the truth of that character, and also for someone to take it even further than where we could ever take it. So we wanted authenticity, which I think is key for everything, and then, creative ideas that
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to come up with. So, and when, yeah, I can tell you all about Leo. I mean, Leo Long, he was an amazing
Yeah.
person, but I'll
Fantastic.
stop there for a sec. Yeah.
But that's great. And so, if you're a youngster out there trying to get in the business,
Yeah.
any tips? How they should start, which avenues to try and explore?
In terms of becoming a filmmaker or an actor.
Either. Either, actually. Just generally getting in the business, getting experience, getting the contacts.
Well, from personal experience, I can talk about it as a director, and I think there's definitely some overlap for actors, but it is, it's a different way of getting in. But I'd say to get into the business, there's a few ways. I think the first thing you have to have is a hunger and
Yeah.
an energy and a faith, because, I mean, obviously there's timing and there's luck, but I do think that timing and luck can sort of happen at any time. Timing and luck can happen at any time.
Yeah.
Not very eloquent, articulate,
But I
but
know
I
what
think
you
I
mean.
think those are two things that are kind of out of your hands, but the things that are in your hand is having that kind of passion.
Yeah.
So you can make your own luck in a way, and you can, create opportunities for yourself so that when the timing is right, everything kind of converges at into the right direction. So I'd say the main thing is, yeah, having that passion and that kind of almost deluded confidence. The reason I say deluded is that, everything in the world is telling you it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Other people, are getting day-to-day jobs and they're kind of settling down, whatever it is, and you're kind of waiting for this external force to give you an opportunity. Um, but I think if you are networking, if you are going to short film festivals, if you are meeting people, if you are messaging people that filmmakers that you're a fan of, if you're messaging any kind of contact from anywhere, your
Yeah,
aunt's best friend's dog's
yeah,
cousin, right?
yeah.
Who's not a dog, who's a person. Actually, how does
A
that
dog
work?
might be useful.
Yeah, a dog might be useful. Yeah, yeah. There are some famous dogs. Um, but yeah, if you utilize all those contacts in the
Yeah,
right way, you
mhm,
know, so like I'll have people that remind me of myself, and I can see the mistakes I made when approaching people in the industry. So you'll get like emails that will be really, really long, loads of detail, a lot of it not necessary. Um, you'll get emails that haven't been thought through as to why they're messaging you specifically. It
yeah,
just feels a bit like you're in the industry. I want to get you have some kind of value to me. I want to try and,
yeah,
get some kind of support from you, or I want you to just like give me everything I ever wanted.
yeah,
And it feels like a blanket kind of email that they send to everyone. But sometimes you'll get an email or a DM uh, that is just so sincere,
yeah,
so well thought through. I liked your film because of this. The reason I'm messaging you is because I want to do something like this. I'd love to have this specific. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
You can feel there's a passion and a drive and a authenticity. And the other thing is like length, because when people are working and they're busy, they don't have time to be sat down reading long emails. It's be really to the point and sharp,
yeah, yeah. Totally
polite,
agree.
you know. And I've noticed that. I think the busier the people, the sort of the bigger the producers over the years and the bigger the actors and everything, the emails seem to be getting shorter and shorter. It's quite interesting. But again, as I say, always polite, not just one word answers.
Yeah, but doesn't there seem to be a bit more immediacy nowadays? I mean, back when I was sort of learning, you expected to do several years plodding away before you got the next step and the next step. Now there seems to be, I want everything now, a kind of mentality bit.
Well, yeah, maybe it's something to do with, the emergence of sort of content creation and
Yeah, mm,
YouTubers and that kind of stuff. And people can get very successful very quickly with that
yes,
kind of medium. But I think in the film industry, I do think, when people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean, you learn what you know by doing things, and those opportunities a lot of the time come through who you know, in
yeah,
that you create new contacts or things like that. I mean, for example, we were working on I Used to Be Famous for, I mean, 2013 is when I first came up with the idea. We made the short film in 2015 with funding from the BFI. Uh, and then I got an agent from the short film, at which point I was like, oh, I've made it. I've got an
yeah,
agent. My agent's
I've
gonna just get,
arrived.
yeah, I've arrived. Like, send me the scripts. And it doesn't work like that. You need to create your own opportunities, even then, because an agent is investing their time in you as a filmmaker, but you need to have projects that are of a quality, for them to send out. Have things to show, because even if it's not very good the first time you do it, it's going to be better the next time. You will learn lessons. I learned more on set of a music video in 2 days as a runner than I did in 3 years at uni
Yeah,
in terms of like practical filmmaking. I learned a lot about, the theoretical side and all that kind of stuff of like French New Wave and
yeah,
Italian neorealism and all that kind of stuff. But so if I wanted to be a film critic, it was great. But in terms of like practical filmmaking, you get on set, you make stuff, or you get on set, you be a runner, you learn what a gaffer is, what a spark is, what a best boy is, what a an AC is, and all that kind of stuff. Um, you learn what the costume department. I mean, when I speak to young people, a lot of the time, the first time they ever hear what heads of departments are is in that conversation, and they would know that if they start making films or if they get on set, they will see costume department,
yeah,
the people that work for the costume department, hair and makeup. production, and then they'll start to identify, actually, I kind of like that job, you
Yeah.
know. So I would say it's putting yourself out there, utilizing contacts, reaching out to filmmakers that you respect, and also not just filmmakers, producers and production managers as well, putting yourself forward as a runner, first ADs as well, because first ADs will always have a set of trusted runners they'll take to different jobs and put forward.
Right.
So I'd say that's definitely a thing. And making stuff, getting better, sending your scripts or your films, short films. You can make an amazing short film on an iPhone now. You just can. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I spoke to a producer and I was asking his advice, and he said when he goes to youngsters saying, "Yeah, I want to make a film," he turns around to them and says, "Have you got a modern phone?" They go, "Yeah." He says, "Well, make one."
Yeah,
Harsh but fair.
yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of the time it's interesting. Like I talk about this a lot, and I'm a bit of a broken record, but it stayed with me forever. So I'm just going to say it again. Um, I remember like looking for like uh advice from filmmakers, sort of taking in advice from Sam Raimi and Guillermo del Toro and Robert Rodriguez just like online.
Wow.
And they all kind of say the same thing, which is just like go and make stuff, get better, go make more, go make more, go make more kind of thing, which is totally I would fully
Yeah.
partly I would fully agree with. I would agree that that is part of it. It's not just that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then Tarantino says, make Reservoir Dogs. And then everyone laughs in the audience. And he's like, I'm not even trying to be a smart ass. I'm saying like that was a really great movie. That was dynamite. Make something as good as that, and then people can't ignore it. And I think the idea behind that is obviously it's not as easy just to make Reservoir Dogs, but the idea is that if you make something with a belief that it is as dynamite as Reservoir Dogs,
Mhm.
and that's what you're putting out in the industry. Like what he says, like if you put dynamite in someone's lap, they can't ignore it. It's going to explode in their face, right? And I love that. I love that. And I think you need to strive towards that with everything that you do. Every single thing that you do needs to be that level of passion and excitement.
Yeah.
And things will start to move
Mm.
if you know it's that good. And then you get it out there and someone who's more experienced might be like, well, why don't you try this? And then you'll be better on the next one.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, thank you so much indeed.
Pleasure.
It's been brilliant, and I think it's been great advice. So thank you so much.
No worries. That's all good. Pleasure. Anytime. Good to
Take
see you
care.
again. Cheers.